This is Professor Michael Chapman. I'm one of the most experienced IVF doctors in Australia. I believe that an important part that I can contribute is to educate patients in relation to fertility, infertility, and all that involves. These series of podcasts help to educate you. I hope they are helpful to you. If you wish to know more, however, I'm more than happy to have you contact me via email, which is profmchapman@gmail.com, or make an appointment to see me on 9138 4222.
Another question submitted earlier. What are your thoughts about this new gene editing tool in embryos called CRISPR Cas9 that could potentially eradicate?
This is where science gets close to science fiction. So certainly in animals, taking a small section of the gene from an egg and chopping a bit out and then putting another bit back in has been achieved. In a human, without ethical approval, a Chinese scientist, doctor, who's still in jail, I think, without ethics approval, tried to do this in the human, and ended up with, he announced at a scientific meeting that he had produced 3 children after this. What he then failed to tell us was that they had a whole collection of other genetic abnormalities that had been created by the process. So it was far from perfect. And he disappeared from his laboratory 3 days later and hasn't been heard of since. It may come into the future to allow us to rid us of some of the genetic diseases that are handed down. Given the genetic diagnosis which we can now do on embryos and actually find mutations or find embryos that are not affected by a particular mutation, there is a way around it anyway. So I think its life is unlikely to be very big.
Okay. Could you talk to us about epigenetic testing and how it can help in IVF treatment?
That's looking at things other than the main chromosomes and trying to work out whether they have an impact on the chances of a pregnancy. I know one of my colleagues in New York has been looking at the bits on the end of a chromosome, the telomeres, and that don't express any genetic in processes within the development of a baby, but may affect the quality of eggs and embryos. But it's a long way off from being really shown to be of significance, and certainly nothing we can do about it.
And don't forget that you can access all the previous episodes by going to our website www.theivfjourney.com and select IVF Journey podcast from the navigation menu.